Right, on Campbell's comments now, catching up with James Herebertson. Firstly, Jimmy, welcome.
Thank you, Paulie, for having me.
Milestones in harness racing, I think sometimes we don't celebrate them enough, and they probably slip by the wayside. 500 wins as a reinsman today in your 5th year of driving. A great achievement. Well done, mate.
Thank you very much, Paulie. I appreciate it, but it's just a combination of a bit of work and a lot of luck. So I'm very pleased to be able to sit here and talk to you tonight, for sure.
It is a lot of work, and I said, we've had a couple of false takes on this, but one of the ones there, I said, I've known you for a long time, a very, very long time, pretty much most of your life. You never really wanted to do much else other than drive horses, did you?
No, it wasn't. Early on, it was probably looking towards a trade of some sort, but in the back of my mind, and then it was really in the back of my mind, and then it was really when Matty started driving for us that it was cemented for sure. Matty Craven, that is. That was what I wanted to do, and that was who I wanted to be. So I'm very lucky to be able to do it for a job full time every day. It's a great reality.
You actually said there before in one of the chats that we were having, you said it actually felt like school holidays initially when you started it. It wasn't really a job. I imagine that's changed a little bit now. Like you are one of the professionals of the industry, and it's a pretty cutthroat industry. So you've got to pull your socks up, I suppose.
Yeah, no, that's right. A lot of people think I'm older than I am, but that's just to be able to be professional and get somewhere sooner rather than later in the industry. You have to grow up very quickly, and it's one of those things you lose a lot of mates from not being really able to socialise and keep in touch with them as much as you'd like. But that's just one of the things you have to do to get where you want to be. But I'm very happy with where I am, and I wouldn't be anywhere else for sure.
How old are you?
21.
Yeah, and I wanted you to because I think you're right. I think a lot of people probably get a shock at that. They probably think James has been around a lot longer than just the 5 years.
Yeah, sometimes it feels like it, but I still feel quite green under the collar, and still learning. Every time you go out, you learn something more, and talking to people every day at the races and that, you're always learning and sponging off people. So it's a great sport, a great industry, as we were saying, and we're very proud to be a part of it for sure.
It is a great industry, and I think there's a lot of good in it. We all bitch and moan from time to time about it's this or it's that, but it is a lot of fun. I've got a replay of the race that you drove in today. I've actually put it full screen up over the top of us. You drove a horse called Chicago at night, so James got off the arm very, very good for you, and lobbed in front. Did you actually think, probably going into today, and even when the race was on, did you think, this might be the chance of breaking that $500 hoodoo, 500 win hoodoo?
Not really. No, I was just I've been thinking that for the last week or so, because it's taken me a little while to get there. But I just sort of put it aside for this race, and I was hoping to run top 3. Because it was a bit of a step up in class for her, and things were we're going to still have to have a bit of luck, which luckily we did. But the second quarter really helped, and she was able to zip home. But as you said before, I had the world's leading female reinsman on my back and breathing down my neck. So it's always whenever I'm in a race with Karen, I'm always very worried, because she is the best female and one of the best overall. So. It's a lot of pressure for sure.
She's also one of the best people to know, I reckon. I'm very fortunate, so are you, to know her very well. She's a lot of fun. I'm going to ask you what you said afterwards. This horse has a very, very funny gait. It gets its head down a long way as it goes along. It hasn't done a bad job. 12 starts for 2 wins. You've won both those races now, but it does get the head down a long way.
Yeah, well, she was actually a very expensive yearling at the yearling sales, being out of lead suitcase. So she's been to a few trainers, and Shannon's been able to to get her firing, and really, she's got a really nice little turn of foot on her. So yeah, as you said, she carries her head quite low. She's a very relaxed little filly, and she's a real pleasure to drive. And when you ask her to go, she goes. But he's done a really good job with her for sure.
Right here, 200 metres to go, you sort of looked like you were going to kick, and then all of a sudden it just looked like they were all going to swamp you. Mickey Bellman, he was trying his best to be the party pooper, and then as we said, Kez, and right on the line, right about there, you do put the head back in front. It was probably 2 strides prior, it looked like Kez was going to get it. It was a good finish actually, wasn't it?
Yeah, it really was. There was a few today, and she when Karen came at her, she lifted again. So she only does what she has to do, but she was good enough on the day for sure.
Yeah, and Kezzy was giving you a little bit of cheek, I would imagine, just as you got past the post, having a nice little chat. Did she know it was a milestone for you?
No, I don't think so. But she's never happy if she gets beat. So she was, this bloody thing, but. She's a great person to race with. As much as we do, I'm very lucky to be able to race against her.
She put a nice little Facebook post. Mum alerted a few people to it on Facebook, and she put a nice little post there. She doesn't feel as bad for running second. I bet you deep down she still wishes she had won.
Yeah, it'd still be cutting her up for sure.
Absolutely, mate. You cover some miles. You drive. For big stables, probably not as many big stables as you probably like to, but you drive for big stables and small stables. I said your good mate there, Mick Bellman, you're very similar in the way you both approach the business. You'll go anywhere for any drives. Does it tie you down from time to time?
Well, just recently I've sort of had to just knock it back just a slight touch. Just my health is getting a little bit out of whack here and there, so the last couple of Sundays, it's been a Cranbourne meeting, and I've only had one drive and not gone, just to be able to get that easy day and just take care of myself a little bit more. But during the week, you go as hard as you can, and it's a lot of Ks, but it's a lot of fun at the same time.
It is, and the Ks are hard. Like I do a different job, and I do a lot of Ks as well. And that's, I think, the one thing people don't realise, sitting in a car. People might think, it's relaxing because you go away for a holiday, but just doing it day to day, it's your office. You don't relax when you're sitting in a car. It's just part of your work business, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Like I've got a bit of a bad habit of watching replays when I'm driving and that. So you're always sort of, doing something, and you're concentrating on the road, but you're concentrating on what races you got to, during the day or during the night, and thinking about what's going to happen. So. You never really get a chance to completely wind down, but, I'm still young and I can afford to keep the foot down for a while yet.
Don't ever leave the cat out of the laundry when you're doing an interview. It will come in and do cameos. And if I yell in a minute, it's because it sucked the claws into me. Your health is important, and I think that's great that you do take the time off. Is that something that you did by yourself, or did someone sort of reach out and say, mate, you can't keep going this hard?
Oh, well, the writing's on the wall, really. You just got to look at a few of the other junior, sort of more senior drivers now. But, like Zach Phillips and that, he went very hard for a long time. And, he's had to take a break and, take a step back. But I don't really want to get to that point where I have to take a step back. So if I just knock it back a gear and just race, sort of try and race 6 days a week instead of 7, and, not going to Mildura, that takes a huge toll on your body and on your mind. I don't know how Jack does it every week. So, just trying to keep the longevity there and keep punching out the winners. You just got to do what you got to do sometimes.
It must be a little bit hard. You watched Jack Law, you said there about Jack, and Jack's having a great season this season. I think he brought up a milestone. I think he's the most winningest junior going around ever at the minute. You drove 185 last year, but it was extended by 4 months. I think he's driven 135 this year so far, and I think he broke Nathan Jack's record just recently. So just little stats. But you watch him go up there and he drives 5s and 6s. You must almost get enticed to want to jump in the car and go up there, and it doesn't mean you'll drive that many winners, but maybe take 1 or 2 off him and get a few more yourself. but to look after your own health is probably the key part.
Yeah, look, I'd love to be able to go up there. I love the racing and love the half-mile track, but yeah, it's just one of those things. You have to cop it on the chin, and I enjoy watching the racing and enjoy watching Jack, but I cheer him home. He's a very good mate of mine, but just as an individual, just have to just take a step back, unfortunately.
What do you do on your day off? I know you love your chooks, but you don't do a lot with your chooks anymore. And then Dad's got a sheep farm, and I know you do a lot there. Do you actually do nothing, or do you go and do something for yourself?
No, well, generally, just general maintenance around the joint. We're still setting up, still fencing, and there's always firewood to cut like we did on the weekend, Dad and I. And I might even, like, majority of the time I go to Maryborough on the Sunday trials, but the last 2 Sundays I haven't been there either. So being able to get a sleep in and just relax to a point for a day, like you're still working, but there's no pressure, and you just sort of potter around and enjoy the day off, really.
Good man. I actually love it. I think there should be more people who do it. Mick Guerin's a big one on drivers having to have 2 weeks off a year without a suspension. Just take 2 weeks off, plan a holiday, and do it, and get away. I think it is key. And mental health is a big thing. Everyone's big on that, but I think mental health comes when your physical health gets run down, which you attested to there before. So I think people should just start backing off a little bit when they can, and go from there. And it would be good if we got like the Gallops, where if you don't go to a meeting, you don't get the sack off the stable. That's sometimes one of the issues, isn't it? If you don't go, they say, oh, well, he's not prepared to go to drive the bad ones. He's not going for the good ones, and that's probably one of the juggling acts you have as a harness racing driver.
Yeah, no, that's exactly right. We're probably a little bit lucky in the harness racing industry that it isn't as cutthroat as Gallops. Like there's a lot more genuine people in the racing and in our code, and they'll let you have a day off, and they're not worried about it. They understand you just have to chill out a little bit sometimes and take a step back. But it's definitely not as cutthroat as the Gallops industry, but it's still there for sure. It's a
little bit hard with COVID at the minute, especially like just even purely getting away. But goals, James, like do you have goals of travelling overseas? You look at the McCarthy boys and Dexter Dunn, what they're doing in America, and I mean the same thing. There's a lot of people go to America and don't achieve winners at all, but something like that, or Sweden, I've spoke to you before about. Are they still on the radar for you, mate?
Yeah, for sure. Once COVID sort of settles down, if it ever does, I'll plan a decent holiday to America and go and sponge off people and learn as much as I can while I'm there. And if I'm lucky to pick up a drive or two, well, that'd be great. But I will travel a lot more and just learn as much as I can with the time I'm given. Really. Do
you want to be a trainer at some stage, or you'd like to stay? Like, is that sort of on the periphery, but you'd rather be as driver for as long as you can?
Yeah, I'm happy driving, but I do like the training. If I train, I'd only have a small team and just have a nice bit more quality than quantity, and take care of them and give them all the 1%ers that they need. So it is on the radar, but I love spending every day with Mum and Dad, and just working our little team and enjoying each other's company. So I'm very lucky like that for sure.
Don't you forget the number one eventer in, where do you live? Talbot. Is that the name of the place where you live? Lexington. I knew that. Yeah, don't you forget her. You'll be in all sorts of trouble. Hope I've promised her I'll come and do an interview with her for Campbell's Coeds Equestrian page, and I think she's a bit excited about that. But I mean, that's part and parcel. Mum is very proud. Mum sent me a message last Thursday. It was 6 minutes past 7 in the morning. She was up and about to make sure that we were aware of the milestone, and I think well done, because she's proud of what you've been able to do, but there'll be a lot of other people out there that'd be very proud of what you've done. A lot of people wouldn't be aware you've driven 500 winners, mate. So I think it's great, and I think well done to you.
Thank you very much, Paul. I really appreciate it.
Thanks, mate.